deception, hypocrisy, and threats were characteristic features of Bolshevik policy from the beginning of their regime. The modern Kremlin, presenting itself as the successor to the Soviet Union, has adopted these same traits. Violating the principle of the Declaration of the Rights of the Peoples of Russia, adopted by the Bolsheviks, which proclaimed the rights of the peoples of the former Russian Empire to independence, the Bolshevik government of Soviet Russia seized and annexed the independent Ukrainian People's Republic after the long and multifaceted Ukrainian-Soviet War. At the start of the 20th century, most Ukrainians lived in the western region of the Russian Empire, spread across 9 governorates: Kyiv, Podolya, Volyn, Chernihiv, Poltava, Kharkiv, Katerinoslav, Kherson, and Taurida. Few could have imagined that within just a few years, their homeland would become the center of one of the most dramatic struggles for independence in European history. When the Russian emperor abdicated in 1917, power across the empire began to crumble. In Kyiv, Ukrainian leaders formed the Central Rada and demanded autonomy. At first, Russia's provisional government recognized it as a regional authority. But events in Petrograd changed everything. After the Bolsheviks seized power in October 1917, the Central Rada declared the Bolsheviks' coup illegal and refused to recognize the authority of Lenin's Council of People's Commissars in Ukraine. On the 22nd of January 1918, Ukraine declared independence as the Ukrainian People's Republic. But independence didn't mean peace. Ukrainian Bolsheviks, backed by Moscow, tried to seize power. However, their attempt to Bolshevize the Central Rada failed. After failing in Kyiv, they regrouped in Kharkiv and declared a rival government, the Soviet Ukrainian Republic. Soon, the Red Army invaded from Russia. The Ukrainian-Soviet War had begun. In January 1918, after fierce fighting and an internal uprising at the Kyiv arsenal factory, the Red Army captured Kyiv. Desperate for help, Ukraine turned to Germany and Austria-Hungary. On the 27th of January 1918, Ukraine signed the separate Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, also known as the Bread Peace. In exchange for food supplies, the Central Powers recognized Ukrainian independence and agreed to provide military assistance against the Bolsheviks. After the Bolsheviks disrupted negotiations at Brest-Litovsk, the German and Austro-Hungarian forces quickly pushed the Bolsheviks out during Operation Faustschlag, also known as the 11 Days War. But support came at a cost. With German backing, General Pavlo Skoropadsky staged a coup on the 29th of April 1918. The Central Rada was dissolved. Skoropadsky declared himself hetman of the new Ukrainian state, also known as the Second Hetmanate. However, when Germany lost the First World War and withdrew its troops in November 1918, his regime collapsed almost overnight. The Ukrainian People's Republic was restored under the Directorate of Ukraine, but the Ukrainian-Soviet War resumed immediately. The Bolsheviks annulled the Brest-Litovsk Treaty and invaded Ukraine again in early 1919. Kyiv again fell. By March, most of Ukraine had been captured by the Red Army. The Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic was proclaimed. Meanwhile, anti-Bolshevik forces under General Denikin also swept into Ukraine. For months, multiple armies battled across Ukrainian soil. By 1920, the Bolsheviks were winning, and all of eastern and central Ukraine was again in their hands. In April 1920, Ukrainian leader Szymon Petlura formed an alliance with Polish leader Józef Pilsudski to fight the Red Army. Together, their united army seized Kyiv in May 1920. For a brief moment, independence appeared attainable. But then the Red Army counterattacked. Polish forces were pushed back. Ukraine was overrun by Bolsheviks again. On the 18th of March 1921, Poland signed the Treaty of Riga with Soviet Russia and the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, bringing the war to an end. Ukraine's independence struggle was effectively suppressed. Most of Ukraine was incorporated into the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, which in December 1922 became the founding member of the Soviet Union. For 4 turbulent years, Ukraine fought unsuccessfully for its independence.